This is Randy with a quick recording to show how to create a narrated MP4 using PowerPoint. This is a powerful capability that if you find yourself doing the same presentation or the same conversation over and over, you can actually record it and put an MP4 on YouTube and do it, or any number of streaming video platforms, to really save a lot of time and to convey a consistent message very professionally. So let's get into it, and then at the end we'll see, I can explain some of the details. You see on the screen here the Microsoft PowerPoint window, and I've created a sample presentation to kind of demonstrate what this is capable of doing. But in order to accomplish this recording, you notice I just went to the Home tab. On top, I'm going to Slideshow, Record, and I can record from the current slide, wherever my current cursor happens to reside, or from the beginning. For this purpose, I'll record from the beginning, but I will tell you that as you work through a presentation and get it where you like it, you might record from current slide as well to fine-tune a presentation. Now, once the recording screen is up, you're not actually recording yet. Just a quick familiarization with this. There's a record button in the upper left. You can also replay anything that's been recorded. There's a stop button as well. This X right here allows you to clear recordings on the current slide you're working on, or all slides. I had done a little bit of previous work, so I just cleared all the recordings out. And in addition, you'll notice down at the bottom there's a microphone and a camera. The microphone has to be off mute. If it's muted like that, nothing you say is going to be heard on the recording. You can also turn on your camera, and it seems to put your picture in the lower right corner. While I'm looking at these controls down here, you also have the capability, while you're recording a presentation as part of the MP4 output, if you hold down your control key, I'm going to do that now. I don't think you'll be able to see my cursor on the output file. We'll generate an output file from this, and I'll let you see what the results are. But while you're doing this, I'm going to hold control and then click my mouse, and you see it actually makes a laser pointer that is visible in the MP4. I believe you'll see in the output file that this cursor that I'm shaking right now on the left side of the screen is not visible. And there's markers, there's different color palettes and things like that you can use for this, but that's all something to play with when you have the opportunity. The left and right advance and advanced slide buttons are here. And once you advance this button and move to another slide, it'll begin recording the next slide automatically. This thing keeps track of all the timings, your voice, the graphics, the animations, everything. In fact, I'm going to try an experiment here I've never done before and see if I can actually run a video and see if that shows up as well. So with that, let me create the output file, and it's going to seem kind of strange because when you see the output MP4 file, it'll make sense to you why I'm doing the kind of strange things that I'm doing here. It's very clear to you what's happening. So the first thing I'm going to do is press the record button, but when I press record, I'm going to start counting immediately, and I think you'll notice that there's actually a bit of a 2 or 3 seconds of mute there when you start to record. I'll do the same between slides and let you see. You want to be careful and give it time to advance the slides, or it'll create a problem. Watch this. As soon as I press record, I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on the output file, we'll see how that looked. I'll go ahead and demonstrate for you now. This is the recorded, that laser pointer that I mentioned earlier. In order to create this narrated PowerPoint MP4, you of course need Microsoft PowerPoint, and you'll need a connected microphone. I'm going to hit the advance arrow. So what I'm showing you right now, this is actually the order of events to create this MP4. You need to have obviously a slide presentation prepared, rehearse it, and go through the presentation yourself and tweak the transitions and make it look nice and all that. Then make sure your PC's connected and tested. You can use voice recorder to do that. At the end of this, I'm going to try to show you a video where you can test your microphone and fix a common problem. We'll get into that in a moment. And actually, starting with the yellow, that's what I'm showing you now. I've showed you how to click the slideshow, record slideshow, and then record the presentation and tweak it. When we get to the end, you'll see I'm going to go save as, type MP4, and everything's saved. So with that, I'm going to advance the slide. This time I'll do an ABC so you can see how much time is consumed in the transition of the slide. So I'm going to click the advance button on on B. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that can give you some sense of what the test slide transition and how that works. So normally you would narrate your slides, say whatever you want with your microphone, And again, to do it correctly, you would pause slightly, and I'll see if I can do that kind of perfectly. I'm gonna pause about 3 seconds before the transition. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So when we look at the output file, we'll see how that pausing works. So that's another test slide here as well. And it's narrating my voice, as you can see. I will talk to you now about the most common problem people try to do this, and the problem that kind of stumps them is that they get hiss and buzz and things like that on their microphone. My microphone should be pretty clear because I've done some settings that you can see on the screen here. And if you're using a Windows PC, I don't know Mac, but if you're using Windows, I can tell you that most articles you read on the internet about how to solve hiss and hum on a microphone is you set the gain close to the micro. You have a sequence of things like a microphone through preamps, through a number of things before it gets to your speakers. And what you want to do is set the gain as low as possible up near the microphone at the beginning of the signal. You want the absolute minimum signal you can have there, and you build it as you go out. In fact, you want to amplify it as late as possible if there's 3 or 4 steps. And there's a click sequence on the lower left corner that I've shown you here that represents in Windows how you can go set that the device level on your microphone very, very low. Some microphones, my microphone in fact, has a gain knob on it. I actually have it setting on 0 in order to record what you're hearing now. So you want that signal very low, and then you're not pushing the noise through the system. That's the best way to get on top of that. So something I've never tried before is to run a video of me actually setting that microphone gain in Windows. And so I'm going to try that now and let's see how that works on this presentation. Looks like it's going okay. I'm simply showing video here, not audio, but this is the steps that you take in order to get noise. Right there you can see whatever noise is on the microphone. You click device properties, then you can set the level as low as you can and still get a good signal that's usable. And that's how you take hiss and noise out. Mine was setting on 100 when I started, and it works best around 75. So that's how you create the presentation. Now what I'm going to do now is to end the presentation. I'm going to hit escape on the count of 3, and the output file will end. There's another file I'll reference it to you. It's called the output file, and you'll see it. But when I hit the count of 3, the output file will end. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, you can reference the output file. Let me go ahead and show you how to save it as an MP4. The way you do that is pretty straightforward. You just say File, Save As, and instead of saving as a normal PowerPoint presentation, you see this is the name of my PowerPoint presentation. What you do is you simply select a file type of MP4, and now it's creating an MP4 of the same name. But just so that we're keeping things straight, I'm going to give it a slightly different name. The MP4 we just created will actually be a different name, slightly different name with the word output. You can see in the bottom, there's a little progress meter of how this thing's progressing, creating the MP4. So I'm not going to make you sit here and wait on that to happen. It can take a few minutes for a long presentation, but I will tell you that even before you create the MP4 and you've done the recordings and you're happy with them, you can go through here and edit these slides, and it won't change the recorded voice. You can actually improve the slides if you notice something that needs a tweak. And the voice recording and the voiceover and the timings all remain exactly the same, even though you edited the slide, which is pretty cool. So good luck with this, and I think you're going to find this very useful this year.